Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something real today. I ain't here to promote Rick and Holmes. I'm here to speak the truth that a lot of people whisper about but won't say out loud. So buckle up, because this one's gonna hit some folks right in the chest. Now, I ain't saying go chase somebody's husband. That ain't what this is. What I am saying is this. Some women don't understand the real power they have with their word. And baby, if you say the right thing, not loud, not desperate, but deep, calm, and real, that man's gonna want you even if he's already got somebody at home calling herself his wife. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to y'all about something people overlook all the time. See, we live in a world that's obsessed with the physical. People chasing beauty like it's gold. Women spending thousands on their appearance, thinking if they just look a little better, wear that tighter dress, put on the right perfume, that man will suddenly want them. But let me tell you something, and I'm going to say this slow so it sinks in. A man might look at beauty, but he falls for emotional connection. That's the truth. You can be the baddest woman in the room, but if you ain't emotionally available in a way that sees him and feeds him, you'll be nothing but a passing glance, a moment, a memory. But the woman who speaks to a man's spirit, she stays on his mind like a song he can't stop humming. Now, when I say emotional availability, I ain't talking about being needy. I ain't talking about crying on his shoulder every day. No, I'm talking about the kind of presence where a man feels like he can breathe around you, where he feels safe to drop the weight off his back. Because let me tell you, most men are walking around heavy. They're carrying stress, pressure, expectations, and a lot of them got wives at home who stopped checking in on how he feels a long time ago. The routine took over, the spark fizzled out, conversations turned into complaints. And that man, though he may be married, is emotionally starving. Now, when you come along and you don't just see him, but you make space for him, you ask him, are you okay? And you actually mean it? That right there is powerful. When a woman makes herself emotionally available, she offers something physical beauty never can: peace. He might have a woman in his bed, but if she's not in tune with his emotions, she might as well be a stranger. And the one who is in tune, the one who listens without judgment, the one who makes him feel like he doesn't have to wear a mask, that woman becomes irresistible. See, emotional availability is rare, and anything rare becomes valuable. And I'm not saying it to justify wrong behavior. I'm just giving you the truth about what pulls a man toward another woman, even when he's already got one. A man will always move toward where he feels most alive. And a lot of times it's not the bedroom that's lacking. It's the emotional connection, the mental intimacy, the space to just be himself without being corrected, criticized, or constantly told what he's not doing right. So if you come in soft, patient, understanding, not playing games, not throwing yourself at him, but just letting him know you see him, that speaks louder than anything else. You become the space where he can drop his armor. And once a man takes his armor off with you, once he shows you his wounds and you don't flinch, you've got a part of him his wife probably hasn't seen in years. That emotional bond you build. It's quiet, but it's deep. It ain't loud like lust. Don't show up like fireworks. It's subtle. It's the way he opens up about his day, the way he remembers your advice, the way he looks at you like home. And let me tell you something. A man will leave a mansion if it don't feel like home, but he'll fight for a woman who gives him peace, even if she lives in a one-bedroom apartment and don't wear designer anything. So when you're emotionally present, when you meet him where he is instead of where you wish he was, you give him something he's probably been missing. You don't have to be the most beautiful woman he's ever seen. But if you're the one who gets him, the one who listens, the one who believes in him when nobody else does, that man will want you, even if he's already got someone at home wearing his last name. That's just real. You ever notice how a man can be in a relationship for years and still feel like something's missing? That's because over time, most women stop saying the things that made him fall in love in the first place. They get used to him. The compliments dry up. The encouragement disappears. The appreciation turns into expectations. And now he's out in the world every day, working, grinding, showing up, carrying all his weight, and he don't hear a single word that fills his soul. That silence becomes loud. That gap becomes dangerous. That's when he becomes vulnerable to a woman who simply says what his wife stopped saying. It ain't complicated. Men are simple in the way they need to be loved. They need to feel admired. They need to feel wanted. They need to feel like they matter. Not for the money they bring home, not for fixing the car or taking out the trash, but because they are a man and someone sees that. But his wife, the one who once lit up when he walked in the room, now barely looks up from her phone. She used to say, "I'm proud of you," and now she says, "You forgot to pay the bill." She used to admire him when he talked. Now she interrupts. Now she corrects. Now she questions more than she believes, and whether she means to or not, it starts to cut him down piece by piece. Now here you come, and you don't even realize how powerful your words are. All you said was, "That must have taken a lot out of you," or "I admire how you handle things," and it hits him like rain in a desert. You said what he used to hear but hasn't in years. You offered something he's been craving but couldn't name. You reminded him of the man he forgot he was. See, when a man hears something affirming from a woman he respects, it ignites, and if he's not getting that from home, he starts thinking about the one who gave it. It's not about manipulation. It's not about seduction. It's about recognition. Just saying, "I see how hard you're trying," or "You're the kind of man a woman should support," makes you different. While his wife complains about what he didn't do, you acknowledge what he did. While she focuses on the flaws, you highlight the effort. That difference becomes magnetic. That gap becomes emotional gravity. And you're not even trying to take her place. You're just saying what should have never stopped being said. That man will replay your words in his head like a song. He'll remember how he felt seen, not judged. He'll remember how your voice sounded like belief, not pressure. That's rare, that's healing, that's powerful. He may love his wife, but he starts to want you, because want is about how someone makes you feel. And if you saying the things she stopped saying, you become what he looks forward to, what he thinks about when he's alone, what he compares her silence to. And don't underestimate timing. A man who's emotionally neglected is walking around with his ears wide open, even if he don't show it. He's listening for something that fills the cracks. So when you speak with sincerity, when you offer warmth without demand, when you give honor without asking for anything back, you trigger something deeper than attraction. You stir up appreciation. You awaken a version of him that's been asleep under the weight of everyday life. And whether he says it out loud or not, a part of him starts choosing you, because the words you speak carry weight. They land in places his wife forgot existed. And when he realizes that you're the one saying what she no longer says, you become more than temptation. You become connection. And connection is what every man, married or not, craves more than anything else. A lot of women misunderstand men because they only pay attention to what a man says, not what he doesn't say. But the real truth about a man, it lives in the silence. It lives in the pauses, in the deep breath, in the fake smiles, in the way he shrugs something off that's actually weighing him down like a brick. Most men are taught from a young age to be strong, to hold it together, to not show emotion. So instead of telling you what they need, they hide it behind responsibilities, jokes, and routines. But just because a man ain't saying it, don't mean he ain't feeling it. And if you're the woman who can read him when he's quiet, oh, you've got something even his wife might not have. Men are simple in expression but complex in emotion. They need love just like anybody else. They need attention. They need softness. They need a space where they don't have to act like they fine all the time. But many of them stopped getting that a long time ago. His wife might be so focused on the kids, the job, the bills, and what's not getting done, that she misses the signals. He ain't gonna say, I need affection, but he'll sit on the edge of the bed hoping for it. He won't say, I feel alone, but he'll start working late just to avoid the coldness at home. And while she's ignoring his unspoken needs, you might be the one who notices them, who responds to them without even realizing how powerful that makes you. It could be something as small as asking, are you really okay? And then sitting in the silence with him when he doesn't answer right away. That's emotional intelligence. That's feminine intuition. That's the kind of connection that makes a man lean in, because most people rush to speak, but the woman who can listen, not just with her ears, but with her spirit, she becomes the one he trusts. She becomes the safe zone in a world that demands toughness from him every day. And if his own wife can't be that for him anymore, and you can, he will start to feel something for you that he doesn't even know how to explain. Understanding his unspoken needs means seeing when he's burned out, even when he pretends to be okay. It means recognizing that sometimes he doesn't want advice, he just wants comfort. It means not taking his distance personally, but knowing that he's trying to solve something in his head that he doesn't know how to say out loud yet. You give him room without walking away. You give him peace without pressure. You give him presence without demands. And slowly, you become what he's been needing, but didn't know he could still find. Most men won't come out and say they're hurting. They won't say they're tired of always having to be the strong one. But when you understand that and you treat him gently in those moments, you touch a part of him his wife might not even realize exists. And when he feels that from you, a different kind of bond starts forming. It's not about sex. It's not even about romance in the beginning. It's about feeling safe, understood, heard. That's a rare thing for a man. And what's rare becomes unforgettable. He might not know how to talk about his emotional needs, but when you meet them without him asking, that's when his heart starts opening up. That's when he begins to compare the comfort you give him with the coldness he gets at home. That's when he starts thinking about you, wondering how it is that you seem to know him better than the woman who shares his last name. Because it's not always about what you say, it's about what you understand. And when you understand what he doesn't say, You'll become the one voice that speaks straight to his soul. Every man has something inside of him that's wired to protect, to provide, to prove. It's not arrogance. It's not ego. It's a deep built-in instinct, what I like to call the hero instinct. Every man wants to feel needed, valued, and powerful in the life of the woman he cares about. That doesn't mean he wants to dominate her. It means he wants to be useful to her. He wants to feel like he matters, that he brings something to her life that no other man can. But the problem is, when a man gets comfortable or feels overlooked in a relationship, especially a long-term one like marriage, that hero instinct fades. He starts to feel like he's just there, just a fixture in the house, paying bills, driving kids, fixing what's broken. But nobody's looking at him like he's the man anymore. And when a woman stops making a man feel like a man, someone else eventually will. Now, here's where you come in. Not chasing him, not throwing yourself at him, but simply showing him he still has something to offer. When you ask his opinion and genuinely value it, when you say, I feel safer when you're around, when you let him lead something, even something small, you activate something he didn't realize he was missing. You make him feel capable again. You make him feel like a protector, not just a provider. That shift right there is powerful, because while his wife might be nagging him, criticizing him, treating him like one of the kids, you're letting him stand tall again. And believe me, a man never forgets how a woman makes him feel. You don't have to build him up with big speeches. It could be as simple as telling him, I trust your judgment. Those words hit different, especially for a man who's been doubted, ignored, or dismissed at home. If you want a man to want you, even if he's married, don't just appeal to his desires. Appeal to his identity. Remind him who he is. Let him feel strong in your presence. He'll start craving that feeling like air. And what most women don't realize is that men want to step up, but only when they feel appreciated for it. If every effort he makes at home gets met with complaints or sarcasm, he'll stop trying. He'll stop investing in the relationship. And that's when he becomes open to someone who simply recognizes his efforts, who smiles when he opens the door, who thanks him for the little things, who looks at him like he's not just a man, and suddenly the very instinct that's been dormant inside him starts waking up. And it's waking up for you. The beauty of the hero instinct is that it's not about doing everything for a man. It's about letting him feel like he's making a difference. That's what you give him. You let him know that his presence, his actions, his ideas matter. You turn to him when you need advice, when something goes wrong, even when it's just to say, I knew you'd know what to do. That man could be married with a full house, but if his woman ain't saying that kind of stuff, and you are, it won't take long before you're the one stuck in his mind. It's not manipulation, it's appreciation. It's recognition. It's understanding what makes a man feel alive, because when he feels like your hero, like your anchor, like your support, he will move mountains to be near you, even if there's already a woman sleeping next to him. Not because he stopped loving her, but because you made him feel again. Feel important. Feel masculine. Feel like and once that instinct is sparked, you'll be the one he keeps coming back to, whether he says it out loud or not. There's something about a woman who don't come with pressure. She's calm. She's sure of herself. She don't chase. She don't beg. She don't need to prove anything. She walks in the room and the energy shifts, not because she's loud or flashy, but because she's centered. She carries peace. And let me tell you, peace is the most attractive thing a woman can bring into a man's life, especially a man who already has a house full of noise. See, most men are surrounded by demands at work, at home, even in their own mind. Do this, fix that, be better, try harder. And if his wife's voice sounds just like all that noise, he starts looking for silence. Not the kind that's empty, but the kind that feels like relief. And that's exactly what a mysterious, peaceful woman becomes, a soft place for him to land. Mystery don't mean being secretive. It means not putting it all out there on the table. It means knowing your worth so deeply that you don't have to overshare, over-explain, or overdo. A mysterious woman has layers. She keeps some of herself for herself. She's warm, but she don't spill everything just because a man showed her attention. And because of that, he keeps leaning in. He keeps wanting to know more. He wonders what she's thinking. He replays the last thing she said, not because she was trying to get in his head, but because she wasn't. And that's what gets him hooked. Because his wife might already know every part of him, but with you, there's something new, something unpredictable, something that feels alive again. Now combine that mystery with peace, and baby, you got dynamite. A peaceful woman doesn't match his chaos, she soothes it. She don't yell when he's late. She don't interrogate him about things she can't control. She doesn't bring tension, she brings ease. And that ease is addictive. She listens without attacking. She allows space without guilt tripping. She smiles without needing a reason. And in a world that always wants more from him, she makes him feel like he's already enough. When a woman like that walks into a man's life, it messes him up in a good way because it feels different. And men remember different. He may have a wife, but if she's been pressing him, questioning him, trying to change him, she's become a weight. And here you are light. You're not trying to control him. You're not trying to compete with her. You're just being still. And stillness speaks volumes. A man starts to crave what calms his spirit. And if you're that woman, he'll start comparing your peace to her pressure every single day. It's not about being passive or weak. No, a peaceful woman is strong in a way that doesn't need to shout. She knows her energy speaks for itself. And that energy, quiet confidence, calm presence, emotional balance makes a man feel safe to let his guard down. And once a man feels that kind of safety, he'll want to stay around it. Even if he has a wife at home, if she's become a source of stress and you've become a source of serenity, the choice becomes less about right or wrong and more about where he feels alive. Men aren't always looking for someone new. Sometimes they're just looking for something real. And when a woman offers peace without pressure, when she holds her mystery like a queen and lets a man come to her, she becomes unforgettable. Not because she tried hard to get him, but because she gave him something no one else did. Room to breathe, room to think, room to be himself without feeling like he's constantly falling short. And that kind of woman, that kind of presence, that's what keeps him coming back, even if he sleeps next to someone else every night. Most women speak to a man based on who he's been, what he did, where he failed, how he disappointed them. Even his wife, the one who said for better or worse, often gets stuck speaking from frustration instead of vision. And that constant reminder of his past becomes a chain. It holds him to old mistakes. It keeps him defending himself instead of dreaming. But every man, no matter how tough he acts, has a part of him that still wants to be believed in. He wants to be seen not just for what he is, but for what he could be. The woman who taps into that, she becomes his motivation, his fuel, his quiet obsession. There's something powerful about a woman who looks at a man and doesn't bring up his history, but speaks life into his future. She doesn't ask, why haven't you done more? She says, I see something bigger in you. She don't accuse, she affirms. She don't compare him to other men. She speaks to the man he hasn't even become yet. And let me tell you, that's a rare gift, because most of the world keeps a man grounded in what he did. But the right words at the right time, they make a man want to rise. Not for attention, not for sex, but because someone finally saw more in him than he saw in himself. His wife might know everything about his past, how he failed a business, or how he was broke for a season, or how he messed up something important, but she stopped seeing past it. So she talks to him like he's limited, like he's already reached his best. She might not even mean to do it, but when the tone shifts from you can to you never, not because he wants to, but because nobody's feeding his future anymore. Then here comes a woman who's not even trying hard. She just says something like, you ever thought about doing more with your ideas? Or you'd make a great leader? Simple words, light delivery, no pressure, just vision. And that man starts thinking, dreaming. He sits in his car a little longer after y'all talk. He replays the tone of your voice, how you made him feel possible again. That feeling is rare for a man, because most of the world only reminds him what he didn't do right. But now you've unlocked something different. You've planted a seed, and now every time he looks at you, he sees hope. You're not pushing him. You're pulling something out of him. You're not controlling his path. You're giving him space to rise. And he will remember that. He will connect that freedom with your face. And even if he goes home every night to someone else, a part of his heart will keep coming back to you. Because it ain't about what you gave him physically. It's about what you made him believe was still possible. A man will run from a critic, but he will chase a believer, especially when life's been beating him up and his own household feels more like a courtroom than a home. You don't need to fix his past. You don't even need to understand it. All you have to do is speak to his tomorrow. When you do that, you separate yourself from every woman who's ever doubted him. And once you become the one who speaks to the king in him, even if he's still walking around like a servant, he'll start to rise just to match your words. That's how deep your influence can go. That's how powerful you become. When you speak to his future, you give him a reason to leave the past behind. And sometimes